Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video because what I'm about to reveal isn't something most men are ever told, and missing it could cost you the woman you want more than anything. I want you to sit with this thought for a moment. Most women don't consciously decide to fall in love. It's not a checklist or a spreadsheet in their minds. It's a series of triggers, subtle psychological cues that ignite feelings before they even realize why. And the truth is, if you understand these triggers, you can create a magnetic pull that draws her toward you naturally, without manipulation, without playing games, just by understanding her mind. Here's what most men get wrong. They believe attraction is about looks, money, or status. That's surface level. Real attraction is emotional, neurological, primal, and it's activated in ways most men never notice. It's the little things. The way you make her feel safe yet excited, the way your confidence contrasts with your vulnerability, the micro behaviors that suggest you are rare, valuable, and hard to forget. I'm going to expose the hidden layers of female desire, the subconscious triggers that make a woman linger on your words, your presence, your energy, long before she admits she's drawn to you. These are the things that psychologists and relationship coaches rarely talk about openly because they challenge the conventional dating advice that floods the internet. You're not going to hear just compliment her more or send flowers. You're going to learn psychological truths that hit deeper than surface-level tactics. Imagine this. She's thinking about you in moments when you aren't even there. She laughs at something you said yesterday, feels an unexplainable pull when your name pops up in conversation, or suddenly notices the way you carry yourself while others don't. These are not coincidences. These are triggers you can cultivate knowingly, and the power is in subtlety. Too much, and it feels fake. Too little, and it goes unnoticed. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to plant these invisible seeds of attraction and make her desire you naturally, without overt effort or desperate moves. But before we go deeper, I want you to do one thing. Look at yourself honestly. Are you ready to step into a version of yourself that women can't ignore? Not because of your looks, not because of your money, but because of the psychological resonance you create. Because once you grasp this, you'll realize that women fall in love quietly, without even knowing why, and you can be the reason it happens. Let's start with one of the most overlooked triggers of female attraction: emotional contrast. Women are wired to notice men who can make them feel a spectrum of emotions, but not in chaotic or reckless ways. I'm talking about the subtle mastery of making her feel safe, intrigued, and alive all at once. Think about the last time you were drawn to someone who wasn't perfect, but somehow kept your attention effortlessly. That's the pull of emotional contrast. Most men try to be nice all the time. They think kindness equals attraction. It doesn't. Kindness is expected. It's emotional neutrality. What women truly notice is a man who makes her feel a difference, who stands out from the ordinary background of her life. It's in the tone of your voice, the pauses you take in conversation, the way you can confidently state your opinion without needing her approval. Emotional contrast creates a tension she can't explain, but it feels magnetic. Here's the catch. This isn't about playing games. It's about being grounded in yourself while naturally expressing layers of emotion. You might be calm and confident in one moment, and then unexpectedly playful or deeply empathetic in the next. These micro shifts are neurological triggers in her brain. She's not analyzing you consciously. Her brain is firing in ways that make her want more, that make her heart rate increase subtly when she's around you. That tension is addictive, and it sets the stage for emotional attachment without her realizing it. Imagine a conversation where you listen intently, then drop a witty remark that makes her laugh in a way that feels genuine and effortless. Or moments where you share a subtle insight about life or people that shows depth, without trying to impress her. She won't tell you immediately, but internally, her mind is taking notes. She's associating your presence with something rare, something emotionally stimulating. This is the core of attraction she can't fake and can't resist. The men who fail at this think they must dominate, show off, or buy affection. But the truth is, emotional contrast doesn't cost money. It doesn't require validation. It's about presence, awareness, and the subtle dance between security and intrigue. When you master this, she will unconsciously gravitate toward you because being with you feels different from anyone else. Understand this. Emotional contrast is invisible power. Women respond to what they feel, not what they're told. You're planting invisible hooks that make her attention linger, her curiosity spike, and her emotions tie to your presence, long before she even admits she's interested. Now, let's uncover a trigger that most men completely overlook: the power of scarcity in your attention. Not in a manipulative, play hard to get way, but in a way that naturally amplifies your value in her mind. Women are wired to notice what isn't constantly available. When your presence feels significant, rare, and meaningful, her brain starts associating you with desirable emotion. She starts craving your attention without realizing it. Think about it. When someone is always available, their impact diminishes. They become part of the background. But when you show that your energy is valuable, through your time, focus, and emotional investment, she instinctively notices. This doesn't mean ignoring her or being cold. It means being intentional. Every moment you share with her should carry weight, subtle energy that says, "I am selective, I am rare, I am not a given." That selectiveness triggers an unconscious desire to hold on, to pursue, to notice nuances about you that others would miss. Here's the deeper layer. Scarcity works because it activates a neurological response in her brain. Dopamine spikes when something desirable feels just out of reach, and oxytocin starts to form stronger emotional bonds in moments of connection. When you balance availability with intentional scarcity, she experiences both reward and longing. It's this combination that subtly shifts her from liking you to desiring you. And the incredible part? She doesn't consciously understand why she feels this pull. She just does. It's not about arrogance or ego. It's about value signaling. High-value men communicate their worth naturally, and women pick up on it instinctively. It can be as simple as being deeply focused on your own life, maintaining personal passions, or responding thoughtfully rather than instantly. When she senses that your world is rich and full without her, she unconsciously wants to become a meaningful part of it. She notices how your absence leaves a subtle gap, how your words carry more weight, and how your attention feels like a reward. Most men misunderstand this and think they must constantly chase or entertain. That only creates dependency on her side and lowers your psychological value. But when you harness scarcity correctly, you trigger internal desire loops, neurological patterns that keep her thinking about you, remembering your words, and connecting emotionally, even in your absence. Remember, this isn't manipulation. This is understanding human psychology and creating a magnetic presence that makes her drawn to you effortlessly. Scarcity is subtle, invisible, and profoundly effective when done with authenticity. Now, let's talk about something most men completely miss: the subtle signals that operate beneath her conscious awareness. Women respond to energy, micro-behaviors, and the way you carry yourself long before they process your words. It's not what you say, it's how you exist in a space that creates attraction. This is the hidden layer of desire that most men are blind to, yet it can make her fall in love without even realizing it. Every gesture, every tone, every fleeting expression sends a message. A calm, confident posture communicates security. A measured pause before responding shows thoughtfulness and depth. Even your breathing, subtle eye contact, and the way you move through a room communicates something primal: that you are a man who knows himself and commands presence. Women pick up on these signals instantaneously, and their brains reward them with subtle surges of attraction chemicals. She doesn't know why she's drawn in, she just feels it. Here's a key truth: most men over-explain, overcompensate, or try to perform to impress her. That kills attraction instantly. What really triggers desire is authenticity combined with presence. Being comfortable in your own energy, relaxed yet aware, sends a subconscious message that you are rare, reliable, and intriguing, that quiet magnetism is more powerful than charm, flashy displays, or words meant to persuade. Women feel it before they even think about it. Another layer is subtle mirroring and alignment. Not obvious copying, but gentle reflection of her energy that makes her feel understood. If she's playful, a slight echo of that playfulness deepens connection. If she's serious, a calm, grounding presence balances her state. These micro-behaviors create emotional resonance without her noticing the mechanics. Her brain begins to associate you with comfort, excitement, and emotional stimulation all at once. She starts craving moments with you subconsciously. The truth most men never grasp is that attraction is largely felt, not spoken. Women's desire is triggered through cues that register below conscious thought: tone, energy, presence, subtle confidence. When you master this, you move beyond being another guy and become someone who leaves an emotional imprint. She will find herself thinking about you, feeling drawn to you, and seeking your presence, even when you're not actively pursuing her. This is invisible power. It doesn't rely on lines, games, or tricks. It relies on your mastery of self, subtlety, and emotional impact. When used correctly, it creates a magnetic pull that feels effortless but profoundly irresistible. Now, let's get into something most men completely underestimate: the power of your words to trigger subconscious attachment. Women aren't just listening, they're feeling. Every word, every story, every carefully placed pause can create emotional resonance that binds her to you without her even knowing. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it and how it makes her feel inside. Here's the thing: most men think attraction is built through flashy talk, jokes, or compliments. That's surface-level noise. Real emotional hooks come from conversational depth and subtle storytelling. When you share experiences, insights, or perspectives that reveal depth without oversharing, her mind starts to process you differently. She begins to see you as someone unique, rare, and worthy of attention. She doesn't consciously label it as attraction. It simply registers. Her brain starts to release dopamine during interactions, creating a subtle craving for your presence. There's also the element of linguistic pacing and phrasing. How you structure sentences, how you time your pauses, even the rhythm of your voice can subconsciously signal confidence, stability, and emotional intelligence. These are signals women pick up on before their conscious mind even notices them. It's why some men are magnetic, even without being conventionally attractive. They communicate value and presence at a deep psychological level. Another crucial aspect is emotionally layered conversation. This is when you combine humor, empathy, and subtle challenge in a single interaction. For example, you might tease lightly, share an insightful perspective, and then ask a reflective question, all in one flow. She doesn't analyze the structure, but her brain reacts to the emotional shifts, creating subtle neural loops that make her associate those feelings with you. She begins to anticipate interactions with you, craving that mixture of excitement and safety you provide. Here's the reality most men ignore: women fall for patterns, not individual compliments. They fall for consistent emotional experiences tied to your presence, your energy, and the way you communicate. When you weave these linguistic hooks into natural conversation, she starts forming a mental attachment. She's thinking about you, replaying your words, feeling the subtle emotional impact, and all of it happens without conscious awareness. This is the secret of conversation that captivates her mind, heart, and imagination. It's not about manipulation. It's about understanding the psychological triggers that make a woman internally invested long before she admits it outwardly. Master this, and you'll move from being noticed to being unforgettable. Now, let's tie everything together and reveal the ultimate truth. Attraction isn't about doing one thing perfectly. It's about layering the triggers we've discussed to create irresistible magnetic pull. Emotional contrast, scarcity, subtle energy, and linguistic hooks all work individually. But when combined consciously, they form a pattern that makes her feel drawn to you without even noticing why. This is where most men fail. They try tactics in isolation, and it comes off as forced or superficial. Think about the way powerful relationships form: slowly, subtly, unconsciously. She doesn't wake up one day deciding she's in love. She notices the way you make her feel alive, intrigued, and secure all at once. She notices that your attention is valuable, that your presence carries weight, and that your words resonate deeper than anyone else. The combination of all these micro-triggers creates a neural imprint, making her desire you emotionally, mentally, and even physically before she admits it to herself. Here's the key. Consistency and authenticity amplify every trigger. Emotional contrast loses power if you're pretending. Scarcity fails if you're unavailable inconsistently. Subtle energy is wasted if you aren't genuinely grounded in yourself. Linguistic hooks backfire if your words are empty. What makes these triggers irresistible is when they are woven naturally into your personality. When you live in alignment with who you truly are, these triggers stop being techniques and become extensions of your authentic presence. You want her mind to unconsciously record moments of connection with you, how you laugh, the way you respond to her emotions, the subtle ways you make her feel noticed, respected, and alive. Every interaction becomes a thread that strengthens the pull. She starts replaying memories of you, craving your presence, feeling that subtle mix of excitement and security only you provide. This is the invisible architecture of desire. Most men never reach this level because they focus on surface attraction, looks, status, or shallow charm. But deep, lasting attraction is psychological. It's the combination of emotion, energy, scarcity, and communication that embeds you in her subconscious as someone rare, valuable, and unforgettable. When she finally realizes her feelings, she believes it just happened. But in reality, her brain has been quietly wiring her desire for you all along. Understand this, and you step into a new level of influence in relationships. You're no longer chasing or hoping. You're activating triggers that naturally make her feel connected, invested, and drawn to you in a way that feels effortless and inevitable. This is how women fall in love quietly, subtly, and deeply, without even realizing it. And now you know exactly how it works.